So I am so sorry that I had to cancel class. This is one of my favorite chapters to go over, so I am really hating I'm having to do a video, but I wanted to give you a little snippet of what the conversation hopefully would have been like. And I know with you all it would have been lively. But chapter 11 talks about motivating people, which makes all the sense in the world since we were looking at leadership. If we're looking at inspiring people, then we need to find out how to motivate people. So this chapter really looks at a number of theories that will help us in our quest to get individuals to do what they need to do. One of the videos that I wanted to show you today is really good to me. It's by Denzel Washington and it's called Fall Forward. I believe he was given an address at a graduation. I'm going to post that as well and hope that you enjoy it. So, moving on, what is motivation? Well, it's defined as those forces that energize, direct, and sustain a person's efforts. And managers need to know that. Look at the things that are listed here. These are the reasons why managers need to be able to motivate their associates or their direct reports. There's a theory that says that if there's a goal and individuals have this in mind, then they will put their efforts toward or make a conscious effort toward that goal, and they'll direct their thoughts and behaviors toward a particular end. Stretch goals. I like these. I did one with you all. I said that your midterm grades would be ready on the 15th, but in my head, I knew that I wanted them to be done earlier. And stretch goals there can be two types, vertical and horizontal. Vertical has to do with your current activities, whether it's increasing your production or some financial results. But then horizontal stretch goals involves people's professional development and how they like to grow. When we look at reinforcing performance, reinforcement theory is based on the law of effect, which was written by a guy named Edward Thorndike. And according to him, there are 4 consequences which either encourage or discourage people's behavior. And you see those on the right: positive and negative, reinforcement, punishment, and extinction. So be sure to read about those. Yeah, extinction is not good. So there are a number of theories. There's just too many for me to go over in a 15-minute lecturette. But they can be quite interesting. With expectancy theory, it's stating that expectations promote efforts, which then leads to the attainment of goals. It links effort to performance. And 2 key components are instrumentality, which is usefulness, and valence, which is value. So instrumentality says, well, if I put forth the effort, if I utilize my effort, then I'll get the desired outcome. Some people, when I think about this, I think about the example of raffle tickets. If I put forth the effort, I give the dollar, will I really get it? Will that effort lead to something? For me, maybe not so much. But then there's this other piece called valence, the value placed on the outcome. If the reward is really good, I might put forth the effort. So I hope you get what I mean. Maslow and Alderfer have theories with regard to needs. We are motivated and moved by our needs. And then there's McClellan, who spoke specifically about managers and their needs. They need achievement. They need to be affiliated or have a need for affiliation, a strong desire to be liked by other people. And then the need for power. He said that these were essential needs and would motivate managers to put forth a conscious effort toward doing the best that they can. We're not in class, but I want you to think about this. If you won $50 million playing the lottery this weekend, would you continue to work? Maybe not in your current job, maybe somewhere else. Why? What does this say about people's employees' motivation in the workplace? So, designing jobs that motivate. You want to look at a couple of things. Rewarding people. It's not just about extrinsic rewards, but also intrinsic. Extrinsic are those things that are given to a person by their boss, the company, or some other person. And it's outward. But an intrinsic reward is really something that is derived from performing the job well itself. It's something that you get. When you hear people talk about, I'm fulfilled, you hear me talk about that when I talk about teaching. That is an intrinsic reward. Managers can motivate by changing things up and shaking things up a little bit, whether it's job rotation, enlargement, or job enrichment. These things can make the work more varied and interesting. Empowerment. This is an important piece. Empowerment changes employees' beliefs from feeling powerless to believing strongly in their own personal effectiveness. It's defined as the process of sharing power with employees. Thereby, you enhance their confidence in their ability to do their job and their belief that they are influential contributors to the organizations. Empowerment is powerful. Outcomes are seen fairly based on their inputs. I'll say that again. Outcomes are seen fairly based on their inputs, and it has a lot to do with perception. People generally expect that the outcomes that they will receive will reflect or be proportionate to the inputs they provide. Another way to say this is that a fair day's pay and other outcomes for a fair day's work. So basically, that ratio, they feel that, okay, based on what I put in, this is what I'll receive. But people compare them to what other people are doing. If I feel like I'm putting in a lot of work and I'm getting this outcome, but I see someone else putting in less work and they're getting a great outcome, that is a problem. So managers have to be aware of that. Now, there's something else though. In achieving fairness, you have to look at equality and equity, and I love this visual here. It's not always the same. But again, the previous slide was about perception. But as a manager, I think you have to always include equity. If you look at the screen on the left, and we may have gone over this before, but everybody has the same thing, but everybody doesn't need the same thing. The poor little boy on the end, he needs 2 boxes. So managers have to keep that in mind as well. Inevitably, managers make decisions that have outcomes that are more favorable for some than for others. So those that are going to experience the favorable outcomes, they're going to be pleased, and those with the not so nice outcomes, with everything being equal, they're going to be displeased. But managers desiring to put salve on the wounds, say of all people they like or respect or want to keep and motivate, they can still reduce dissatisfaction. So what's being said in this slide has to do with, it's not just the outcomes that have to be fair, it's the procedures, because people are going to see things differently. Managers are going to do what they do. They're going to make decisions, and inevitably some people are going to be happy and some people are not going to be happy. But if you do things the right way, then it's going to be okay. I do that in class. There's some students that they come to me and they want extensions on homework or whatever, and I'm across the board with everybody just the same, because I don't want any issues. If there is some reason that you couldn't get the work done, if you have something documented, then I'll accept it. So my rules are fair. So you have to think about that too as a manager. With regard to motivation, companies are realizing, you know what? These people have a life outside of this place. So now they're creating programs that are designed to create a workplace where that actually enhances employees' well-being. So whether that is a gym or a daycare center, these things can help motivate people. If I know I don't have to worry about childcare, I can bring my child and take them and put them in the daycare, and then I can do my work, and I'm focused and I know that they're safe. To me, that's going to motivate me as a mother. Some These are 8 quality work life programs, I would say components. You want to ensure that when you put a program like this in place, you want to ensure that these things are covered. And some of these are basic, such as adequate and fair compensation and a safe and healthy environment. You want jobs that develop human capacities, a chance for personal growth and security, a social environment that fosters personal identity, freedom from prejudice, a sense of community and upward mobility, constitutionalism or the rights of personal privacy to dissent. That means to say something and it may not, you may not agree, but it's okay. And due process, a work role that minimizes infringement on personal leisure and family needs. Let me have my family time. And then socially, you want a socially responsible organization to make ethical decisions and have ethical actions. Okay. Well, you're not here, so we're not going to do this. But I want you to consider, if you had to write an inspirational speech to your class, what would you say to your classmates? Well, now you see why I really would have enjoyed class and why it's a little bit shorter, because you all would have ended it. Anyway, hope you enjoy. Hope it sparks your thinking. And like I said, I'm going to post the Denzel Washington video as well. And I will see you all next week where we'll talk about group presentations.